Today's topic deals with sensitive material. Please keep in mind that this is solely our opinions. Jolene and I are not theologians. We're not way experts on the material. This is simply our opinion on the video we watched and what our knowledge is in our opinion of what's going on.
Welcome back, everyone. In today's episode, we are going to be discussing the sounds under the Euphrates River. So, Amber, what did you think of those sounds?
I thought, fuck that. That's what I thought. I didn't have any idea, though, that it tied in with Revelations and fallen angels supposedly chained underneath the Euphrates River. Kind of gives you a little pause for concern there after hearing that, but there's always the and that it could be faked. Like, that's the only video I was able to find anywhere, just one. You would think that if weird noises being recorded, people like circus acts and things like that, so you'd think there would be like a whole bunch of people that go there and record them if it was a thing.
Right, but maybe they have it blocked off, like to where they won't let people in.
Come on now, you can't tell me that security. Come on now, that's people we're talking about. People will find a way. Especially some shit like that. Look at how many videos are on YouTube of security guards filming where they're watching the fucked up shit just because they're not supposed to. I know they're not supposed to. I was a security guard for many years.
Right.
So you can't tell me that even the people that are supposed to be guarding it, if that's the case, or there's this even, if there would even be guards there, that they wouldn't record it just because no one's going to believe that shit.
Well, I know things can be faked very easily. But the reason some people think that is because in Revelation 9:14-16, it says, "To the sixth angel who had the trumpet, release the four angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates, and the four angels who had been kept ready for this very hour and day and month and year were released to kill a third of mankind." So because it's in the Bible, some people think that it really is or could be the fallen angels.
But would we get such a warning?
Right.
To me, it seems a little convenient. And this isn't the first time the Euphrates has dried up. And when I looked into the history of the Euphrates River, strategically, for military purposes, it gets dammed up. It was a strategy for the Persian Empire to conquer Babylon. They did it in 536 BC. Cyrus diverted the flow of the waters to the Euphrates out of the riverbed, which ran into the wall surrounding Babylon. So they blocked the water, and then they used it as a weapon. And they had to have done it for a significant period of time, because that's how the arches and the caves got there in the first place. The Babylonians actually carved the tunnels underneath the Euphrates. So that's probably why they're finding skeletons there. Probably why may even be some accounting for the strange noises. Now the chain sounds and draggings, I don't got an explanation for that. But if this was blocked up from them to try to, or for any reason, long enough for them to actually carve that out and build it out the way that it's still there that way, it probably goes deeper than we think it does, and there's probably a structure and probably another end that has like air vents leading outside. So that would create a draft that would make noises through small little stone holes. So there is that natural explanation for it. I can't account for the chain dragging sounds. I kind of think that may have been edited in that video. But
Very possible.
the earliest underwater tunnel used for transportation was over 4,000 years ago, and it was built by the Babylonians under the Euphrates River. It was 12 foot high, lined with bricks and arches, and able to accommodate chariots between 2180 and 2160 BC. A tunnel was built under the Euphrates River to connect two halves of Babylon. It was the biggest underwater tunnel until one was built under the Thames River in 1824. So that means there is probably a pretty complex structure underneath the Euphrates that time forgot about, or maybe not forgot about, just it's being conveniently left out of the story. Turkey has been diverting water and stopping the water in the Euphrates from a hydroelectric dam. They did sign a treaty saying that they were going to release water back down, but they're not. So it's not so much that it's drying up, it's being diverted for political gain,
Oh.
which was the exact same reason that it was dammed up all those years ago. It was a military strategy or political manipulation. So if it didn't cause Armageddon last time, why is it going to this time?
I haven't heard about the last time.
Now, that took a little bit of digging to find, but I found it on multiple sites on the internet that it's a known. This river seems to be used a lot for against people because it really is the only source of water for a very, very long way. So controlling that controls the people. And it just seems convenient to me that the river's drying up. The people in the area are being faced with losing their farms and not being able to feed their family. And then you throw in a little religious scare in there too and just scare the shit out of everybody, and now you can control who you want. I did find a more anthropological, if that's the way you say it, view on the Book of Revelations as well, that doesn't necessarily discount and say that it's not going to happen, just more that you have to take into consideration what was going on at the time that that book was written. That there was Christians were being persecuted. I think people now, I say this a lot, don't look through historical things through the correct historical lens. When you read about Christians in the Bible or in that time, it wasn't like it is now, where it's the predominant religion. Back then, it would be more like witchcraft was in Puritan time. Wasn't They were killed? I mean, if you look at how the disciples were killed, they weren't killed like, simple ways. They were tortured, and that that should put things into perspective of mindsets when they're writing down what's happening around them. You still have the people in power that killed your leader. So you still have Romans in power. All your friends and followers are being killed or ostracized, starving, can't make a living, family looked down on, and that feel like the world's ending.
It would to me, that's for sure.
And the only thing that you can say against your oppressor is my leader is going to come back and take care of all of you, which is pretty much what the book of Revelation says. Jesus is going to come back and deal with all of us.
Yeah, pretty much.
So thinking of it as more of scared people writing down what's going on and what they want to happen makes more sense to me about literal, like a checklist, which is pretty much what the book of Revelation is supposed to be. It starts here. We're going to go through all of this and it's going to end like this.
Mm-hmm.
If this is that sixth seal or that sixth trumpet, we're missing some. So the checklist wouldn't be.
Well, maybe we just aren't aware.
There ain't no temple in Jerusalem.
Well, that is true. I forgot about that part.
The Antichrist has to sit on the throne in the temple in Jerusalem. There ain't no temple. There ain't
That's
been one
right.
for a very, very long time.
My husband was
So
just telling me about that, so.
I also take into consideration as far as what our America's influence over there. We stir the pot a lot. So that raises question to me of what if our free will changes course, if that's possible, to make it not a checklist and or not anything that is set off by a seal broken or anything like that, but we do it to ourselves. He just seen what we do to ourselves. That makes a lot more sense to me because we fuck up a lot.
Yeah.
I'm always going to play devil's advocate with the Bible. Always. In order for me to believe it, I have to question it.
Right.
So please, nobody take offense by my stance. It's just simply my nature to look for that counter answer. That's what makes something real for me, is if it can stand up to criticism, it can stand up to a counter way of thinking.
Either way, though, the fact that it says that in the book, and then there actually is an underneath the Euphrates, or even at the Euphrates, whichever it says, I can't remember which. But to me, that's still kind of like, because it's in the book, and I don't know, coincidence.
If Persia dried it up in 536 BC, I know that the correct term doesn't really mean this, but most people view it as before Christ.
Mm-hmm.
So if it was dried up that early and 2180 and 2160 BC is when they were building tunnels underneath it to connect two halves of Babylon. That all happened before Christ's birth. So the people that wrote Revelation would have been fully aware of it, that they were there. They would have to be aware of a place existing to say something's locked in it.
True.
I say, send some people down there. You tell me what to see. Take a video camera.
Yeah, but who's going to volunteer for that?
Fuck it. YOLO!
Be like, right here, we'll do it.
I mean, it's really what scares me the most is how easy religious fear is used over people to control them. And right now, that area is war-torn.
Right.
So it's potentially scaring people that are already scared for no reason. That's what makes it scary to me. I mean, if it's real, that's extremely terrifying, but it is what it is. What's
Right.
meant to
There
be is
ain't nothing
meant
we
to
can do
be.
about it. YOLO.
Right. Like I said, if it's real, it is terrifying though. Well, I guess it is. Things are coming to an
Those
end,
sounds,
but
fake or not, even if they're fake and they're not real, they're still so creepy. Like, could you imagine hearing that underneath there? Like,
I don't think I would have stuck around long enough to record a damn thing. There is also climate change, and if it is climate change, I think that would fall into making sense of it being, part of the Revelation prophecies. That that is done by God, so to speak. The fact that they built things under the Euphrates that was large enough to drive chariots, that's at least 2 horses and a big ass fucking cart.
right. What if they have, like, I shouldn't say this, but what if they had, like, real people down there?
I don't think they'd live that long, but
Then they were being like tortured and stuff, like now, and that's what the sounds were.
that's always a possibility too. I think that area isn't a peaceful area.
Right. That's
You've
why
got,
I was like, well,
I mean,
because if
we
there's no
are,
water down there, then you could fit people down there.
yeah, you can do whatever you want. And maybe that's what the video is they did that or released it so if anybody else heard it, it'd be like, oh, it's fallen angels, and
They'll stay the hell away from it.
cover up that there's serial killing and
I mean,
Euphrates
that's
River.
not funny, but like,
It's anything is possible.
right.
Anything is possible. And human nature will scare me far more than anything supernatural or
Right, I would very easily believe that there were real people down there being tortured and tied up in chains.
yeah.
Just because we see that happen all the time.
And it's war-torn countries that don't necessarily follow the Geneva Convention on torture.
Mm-hmm.
So anything is possible. Anything religious confirming that the Bible is real, anything like that. People flock to that shit. That this is the only video and it's a little sketchy on tracking down the original. Kind of raises an eyebrow.
Yeah, I didn't really look to see if there was any more, honestly. I just watched that one. I seen stuff about that video, but like the actual video, that was the only one that I watched.
I did see videos where there was news clips from the area that it's in. So it's catching like media attention over there, but it's still one video.
Right.
And you would think you would see like massive congregations of people. I mean, even to get close to a fallen angel, I don't know if I'd ever really want to do that, but the people that are super religious,
Hell no, I wouldn't. I'd be like, no. Because they're not good. That's why they're fallen.
you know me, I'd be down there with a recorder, be like, sir, ma'am, I got some questions. Can we talk for a minute?
They'd be like, no, we cannot. We are busy.
You ain't going nowhere. What else you got to do? And that's the kind of, I'm making light of it, but human nature is very curious.
Mm-hmm.
So people would go. I mean, look at us. You tell us that there's a ghost somewhere, we're like, I'm just gonna have to go and find out myself.
Right, and nobody would believe it anyways. This is the problem, because it doesn't matter what anybody catches of anything in existence, because anything can be faked. And that's what everybody, if it's something that people don't want to believe, they will just say that it's fake. Somebody just, it's a hoax. They just made it up. They did it with this, they did it with that. So I don't know what kind of evidence anybody could actually get that would make people not argue about it.
Except going for themselves.
Right.
And people have also an exploitative nature. If we really found a fallen angel, it's going to be step right up, folks. Get your tickets.
Exactly. How can we catch it? How can we keep it here in whatever? How can we torture it, because humans are just fucked up?
Yeah, because we won't, even if we were in the presence of an actual angel, fallen or not, we're going to want to take it apart to prove that that's what it is.
Mm-hmm. That's actually quite sad that we're like that.
Oh, I mean, look what we did to Jesus.
Well, yeah, that's pretty fucked up. That was not cool at all.
Here's a perfect person. String him up.
Just because.
That's human nature. That's real human nature. So human nature makes me not believe it's fiction. Not necessarily that it can be fake. It's just somebody's thought is going first. How can I profit off of this?
Right.
Which again so that would also,
unless they profit from keeping it quiet.
But they would never make more money than actually showing it off. I mean, otherwise Jurassic Park movies would flop at the theaters. It would be the same concept. People love those movies for the idea of having something that we're not supposed to.
Right.
It would be the same if we actually did find. And you would think if God had specifically put these 4 angels in that place, hidden from us for thousands of years up to this point, that he wouldn't have put in a safety mechanism, that we wouldn't be able to hear them or see them. Because he knows who we are. He made us.
Right. He knows that we would be way too curious and we would fuck with shit, basically.
Yeah, I don't know. It is creepy as fuck. Like, I don't really want to go find out if it's real, because if it is, that's horrifying as well. That means, nice knowing you.
Right. But, that means it's about that time.
Right. And I hope I've lived my life good enough to not have to explain for too much. But that is less scary to me than the other side of it, that it's being used to manipulate. That terrifies me.
Yeah, anything that has to do with people is definitely way more terrifying.
Anything that's already set forward on God's plan, there ain't nothing I can do to change it anyway. So there's no use in worrying about it.
It's kind of on the same topic, but have you seen those pictures again? They claim that they're real pictures of proof that the giants were here.
I seen something about a very large priestess with a jewel for an eye that somebody was kind of trying to make it funny on it. They were like, please, for the love of God, do not remove the jewel from the very large woman's eye. But I've seen that, and just this one
was like skeleton, they found in the dirt, like they would find the dinosaurs. It was a skeleton of a giant.
I've seen um
I'll insert the photo if I can find it. The
I've
one that
seen
I'm thinking
some
of.
of really large human like skeletons that were really old, which would also tie into the Book of Enoch being real.
Hmm. And I mean, the fallen angels got in trouble for.
Because they were fucking people. That's what they
Yeah,
got
they
in trouble
were
for.
interbreeding and changing.
Human
Yeah,
DNA.
yeah, changing what God made us as. God was like, nope. So if
But
there's actually proof that those are here, that says a lot.
that's a terrifying thought too, giants being real.
Mm-hmm. I never even thought about it until my husband was telling me about it, and he's the one that showed me this picture. Let me see if I can find it. I'll send it to you.
I have seen some, but there's only like a couple that I've seen. The most recent was talking about the very tall lady with the jeweled eye. But she was like not like giant tall. She was just like tall for a woman. To certain people, it'll scare them. To others, it'll give them pause for concern. But most people are going to write it off as it's fake.
Mm-hmm.
And which also may play into everything too, that nobody believes what's right in front of their face. So we're
Right.
all caught off guard and, the way that we're supposed to be. So there's that too.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot that we are not supposed to know, obviously, because if we were, we would know it.
I I don't think that if you're gonna be a deity that isn't in control, not only in control, but created everything, and you're gonna end it, and you supposedly love the creatures that you created, are you gonna scare them first, or are you just gonna take them out like a band-aid, like ripping off a band-aid? Because the way the Book of Revelations kind of goes is a little bit of a sadistic there. We got to go through some shit before we die, which to me I've always thought is fucked up. Like if it was really I'm just ending things because y'all have fucked everything up. What did you do, or why did you allow it to go as far as you did? Now there's a whole lot about that it baffles me that if it's true and that's the way God's gonna end everything,
Well, I mean,
then
he did it once.
why did you if you knew if you knew how things were gonna end when you started it, why did you start it if you knew that was the end you were gonna give them? What's the purpose of that? But if I wasn't supposed to question everything, I wouldn't.
It's good to question things, though.
What?
It's good to question things.
Like I said, to me that makes it stand up. If it can stand up to criticism, then I'm more than likely to accept it. But if it doesn't stand up to criticism, then I can't put a belief into it. I think when and if or when it is our inevitable time, whether it's individual and life goes on forever, or until we screw it up bad enough that we don't have any place to live, which is where I think this is really going. When we finally do find out what happens when your heart stops and your brain no longer functions, that we're all just going to be like, wow, God.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be the things that everybody wrote off as that's nuts, that's not true, you're making it up. I think it's going to be that type of situation, or
Well, if I'm not mistaken, Doesn't the Bible say something about we people will be deceived?
Yeah, that's inevitable. That the Antichrist fools the Jews pretty much and makes them think that he is the Messiah. It's also a touchy topic because no matter what, you're dealing with somebody's belief system. If you don't believe that it's possible that that could be fallen angels, you're always going to be stepping on somebody's toes, which is going to create an argument, and it becomes a finger pointing. My way of thinking is better than your way of thinking, instead of maybe we should just talk this out and try to figure it out because it affects all of us.
Right. We can agree to disagree, but still discuss.
And try to figure it out.
This is a good time to mention, please be nice in the comments. We want to have a discussion and we want to hear everybody's opinions, but don't attack each other.
Right, we're not here to try to figure out if God's real or whose line of thought, whether you're Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, worship Christmas trees, I don't know. Whatever your belief system is, it's not for anybody to try to figure out who's right or wrong. Just, do you think it's possible there could be fallen angels chained in the bottom of the Euphrates River? Or underneath. Sorry, not the bottom.
It's either at or underneath. I'm really not sure. Because I thought it was under, and then somebody corrected me. I think they corrected me because I think it says at, but same thing though, because they would have to be under. I mean, because if they were out in the open, you would see them.
Right. I think I noticed an angel. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that they would stick out.
Or at least hear them. I mean, a lot better than what that one or what that recording was. If you like this episode, go ahead and give us a like, share, and a follow, and subscribe, and turn that little bell on to get notified every time we upload. And until next time, bye.
Bye.